Hey, want to skip those ads and get early access and bonus episodes of all Banana for Scale shows? Hop on over to truestory.fm/join and discover all the cool perks that come with being a member of the Banana for Scale family. Coming up on The Devil's Details, this revelation could have been an email. Revelation Chapter 2. Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. And last time, folks, you'll remember we cracked the that's what you say, right? When you open a book, you crack it.
You crack it, yeah.
You crack it, right? Pop it, twist it, destroy it. No, we opened the book of Revelation, and we discussed chapter 1. And it turns out that neither of us were familiar with chapter 1 because there was no devil, there were no horsemen, there was no beast or antichrists to be found. It was just this guy John writing some letters to some literal ? Churches. Actually, yes. Actually, they were literal. There was nothing figurative about it. But we're continuing that with chapter 2. John sends letters to 4 more churches. Right. So it was 3 churches before. And if you're keeping up with the numbers motif, we got 4 more because that's 7. And 7 is a symbol of completeness because it is.
I kept seeing that as well. I kept seeing everywhere that 7 is the Bible's favorite number and it is the most complete number, and I didn't see why.
I'm thinking it's even. Well, no, it's not even, but I'm thinking it's like 1 more than even. It's like putting a button on a perfectly even thing. It's like, hey, 3 is the Trinity. Well, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like we got a left and a right for each of the 3, and then 1 little button at the end. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're done.
You really lost.
This is my.
I thought you were saying that 7 is 1 more than even, as in you take even and you add s to it, and that becomes 7. I thought that's what you were arguing, and then there were dots involved. And
there you go.
Confused.
No. There are thoughts involved. Oh, you said dots.
I said dots. Now all of a sudden we're talking about the dots.
Or dots and thoughts. You know what?
You should write a book of the Bible.
I should.
That's why we put it in the back. Put it in the end. Yeah.
It'll be the gospel. It'll be. Esther is a book, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it'll be that. It'll be right after Esther. And the L will look a little bit like somebody just like tacked it on, right? Mm-hmm. And like as you turn the pages, it'll be almost like a flip book where like one of the nails holding the L up just kind of falls, and it's kind of go, and it's just hanging by 1 nail, right? Yeah.
Great.
The book of Esther. Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. Good.
So, which brings us to Revelation. There we go.
Uh-huh.
Right. So this is Revelation chapter 2, and we're sending a couple more letters to these last 4 churches. So this is supposed to be Jesus' message sent by John in these letters, right?
Yeah. So Bart Ehrman, who I'm reading his book, Armageddon, What the Bible Really Says About the End, he points out that this is the only words in Scripture of the canonical Bible that is said to be written by Jesus.
Oh.
Because everything else is people telling of Jesus or relating a story that Jesus told. But this is one where Jesus is like, write this down, put it in the Bible.
Put it in the Bible verbatim. Yeah.
You are dictating this for me.
That would be so cool if I actually believed this part of the Bible.
Right. This would be so cool if then what Jesus said didn't entirely run counter to what he said in other parts of the Bible.
In every other part.
All the other parts, yeah.
This would be so cool if it were not completely uncharacteristic of Jesus.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Jesus is about to say some crazy stuff here in this chapter specifically.
Yes. So he's sending messages specifically to the churches of, and I'm going to do my best here, Ephesus, Smyrna, and Thyatira. I think. Yeah, I think that is a way to pronounce those. I was going to say that's how you pronounce it. I don't know.
And Pergamum?
Pergamum? And I didn't, of course. Who's going to skip Pergamum? Pergamum's the most important one. to Pergamum.
Well, I think for our show, I think that is the most important one because he's talking about that's where Satan's seat is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There is, Smyrna is the synagogue of Satan. That's another one. But yeah, we're going to talk about all of those, right?
Right. Yeah. There's a Smyrna near my city, Murfreesboro, in Tennessee, and the Smyrna is where the super target is. So sometimes you have to go up there to the super target.
I see.
Or the synagogue of Satan, as we call it.
Yes. Because we all know, yeah. But yeah, okay. So let's get to these individual messages. So to Ephesus, he says, "You've remained orthodox and you've worked hard, exposing false apostles. But quote, thou hast left thy first love." So that's very important. He says, repent, and return to your first works, or your lampstand will be removed. So we got some lampstand imagery here as well. Right. Then to Smyrna, he says, "You're suffering tribulation and poverty, facing slander from those who claim to be Jews, but are instead, quote, the synagogue of Satan. Don't fear what's coming. Quote, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life."
And John didn't say synagogue of Satan. You can't just say synagogue of Satan and just leave that there. You have to explain how you mean that. Jesus. Jesus.
Jesus is like, give me a break. I've been gone for a long time.
Right.
All right. Like I've evolved as a character,
That's
obviously.
Right. I got swords coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. Right. What do you think this is? I'm going to speak all nice and it's going to be just like sunshine and rainbows.
Right. It's not your grandfather's Jesus.
Yeah. And John says, yeah, that is what I thought. Like that's what you're famous for, Jesus. Yeah. But then, okay, to Pergamum.
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 Everyone's favorite, yes.
Right? It's not delivery, it's just Pergamum. No. He says, "You dwell where Satan's seat is," right in the heart of imperial power, yet you have held fast to my name, even when Antipas was martyred among you. But some are compromising, following the doctrine of Balaam. Repent, or I'll fight against them, quote, with the sword of my mouth. To those who overcome, quote, I will give to eat of the hidden manna and a white stone, and in the stone a new name.
And Jesus says, and that you're fine with that? You're fine with me saying with the sword of my mouth without explaining it? And John's like, yeah, we all understand that.
Yeah. Right. And to Thyatira, he says, you're growing in love and service, but you tolerate, quote, that woman Jezebel, unquote, who teaches my servants to compromise with idolatry. To those who hold fast, quote, he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and I'll give them the morning star.
Do you think John pipes up here and says that woman Jezebel, or what do you mean the morning star? Isn't the morning star Lucifer?
Yeah, no. Apparently, he's fine with all of that.
Okay, all right, great, John.
I meant like historically and contextually, John knows what all of these mean,
right?
And Jesus knows because he knows everything,
right? He's the one saying it.
Yeah, but they're both shrugging. It's like, they'll figure this out in 2,000 years.
Right.
Nothing's going to change culturally that's going to like make these not mean the things that they mean now.
Yes, I think just to underline this again, they thought that no one would be reading this in 30 years because the world would be over.
Yeah, these are like, what you think Thyatira is going to share the letter you send with other people? No. All right. Okay, but before we dig deeper into this, because that's the chapter right there, is those letters. I had what is your experience with this part of Revelation? I have none.
No personal experience. No. When I was reading, when I've read Revelation in the past, these are kind of the segments where I just go, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Just go. And then this time doing it for the show, I had that still like, oh gosh, I don't know what any of this stuff is. It's impossible to know what this stuff is. And now I think it's more possible that this stuff actually makes some kind of sense. I don't know what every single proper name is here, but now I finally understand, I think, what the point of all this is.
Yeah, I think we were looking for devils in all the wrong places, and this doesn't have any horsemen, it doesn't have any beasts, It doesn't have any dragons or anything like that, so we just kind of glossed over it.
Right.
Yeah, or didn't even never even read it at all because it's not part of the the pop culture. It's not in Left Behind. It's not in The Stand or any of the the end of the world pop culture stories.
Right. Yeah. And as again Bart Ehrman talks about in Armageddon, he says it feels a little bit like, why should I be reading this memo to these churches? Like this isn't meant for me. This is specifically addressed to these churches by name. So you kind of gloss over them a little bit and like, not for me. This isn't for me.
Now, some of us gloss over it. Some of us look into it and try to decode what is probably not meant to be decoded. All right.
At least not in the way that we can decode it.
Exactly.
Today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, we're going to tell you about the popular interpretation of this part of Revelation. So the popular evangelical reading of Revelation chapter 2 usually takes one of two approaches. There's two ways you can think about it, right? Which is actually interesting because I never thought of like the evangelical method being like, okay, it could be this or it could be this. I was always like under the impression that they're like, no, it's definitely this, you know?
Yeah, or get out of town.
Or get, yeah.
You're not part of our church anymore.
If you don't like creation, there's the door.
Right. Go find a town that allows dancing.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so this is approach number one, is that each of these churches are prophecies about 7 consecutive eras of church history. So you got Ephesus, which is the apostolic church, and it's losing its first love, right? It forgot why it got into the business in the first place, right? You got Smyrna is the persecuted church under Rome. And then you got Pergamum, the church compromising with Constantine.
Which is bad, I guess. I don't know why. But,
yeah. Okay. And then you got Thyatira, the medieval Catholic church, hence Jezebel. All right. So this reading treats the letters as like a hidden code predicting 2,000 years of church history and I guess not evolution, but devolution, rather than actual messages to actual churches, right? So that's one way that the evangelicals look at it. Another way is these are timeless church types. Right, so this is actually more common, and it sees these churches as personality types or problems that exist in all churches everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So if a church could take a Facebook personality quiz, it's like, which church are you? Right?
Yeah, you're Joey from Friends.
Yeah, right. You're Pergamum.
Oh no! Then you try to take it again.
Right,
so
right.
You can be more like Philadelphia. Yeah.
Right, because you want to be Jezebel, but but it turns out you're Pergamum, huh? Right. I really am that church. Well, right, and then you're hanging out with the other churches. It's like, do I really sound like and just like even as you're saying it, it's like that's exactly what Pergamum would do.
So, okay. So 7 churches, 7 personality types, like 7 deadly sins, 7. We love 7.
We love our 7, right? So for example, right, like left thy first love, right, from Ephesus, right? This becomes like a personal, like devotional issue about losing your initial passion for Jesus, right? Like you've divorced from like, you're just going through the motions basically, right? All right. Let's talk about this synagogue of Satan. Right, in Smyrna, right? This often gets weaponized into anti-Semitism, using that like that thing where it's like these people who act like Jews but are not, right? Like looking for like fake Jews or enemies, right?
Yeah, the synagogue of Satan. I mean, it's like John wrote a phrase like that was like I've been ordered by anti-Semites to come up with a term, like it's handcrafted for them. But John wouldn't have been using an anti-Semitic term to talk about this about the Jews because he was probably a Jew himself,
right? Yeah.
And what he was so he was using this more like we might say like that's a godless church or something like that,
right?
Yeah.
It would be, I mean, like making the, it's like, oh, that's the devil's music. Like, we don't, like, that's not, nobody thinks about, it's like, oh, like down in hell, he's got his old, records and he's listening to this music. Like, it's like, we're saying like, that's evil music.
Right. Yeah. Like there are churches that are less faithful. There are churches that are made up of people who aren't true believers. I mean, but that's the kind of thing that Jesus was saying, that was true of, like the Pharisees who, were not practicing the kind of Judaism that he preferred, but it's not that it's not literally that all Jews are worshiping Satan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But again, it almost seems like these interpretations always, like, it's like the dumbest interpretation always wins. It's like that least common denominator thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's always the worst possible way that you can interpret something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen some people use this term throughout the the ages in an anti-Semitic way. Apparently, it also is in like the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's talking. Again, not in that case. Again, it is one of these like hey, that church over there is a church of Satan, a synagogue of Satan, rather. So it's probably not uncommon. Like to say that about a particular I'm trying not to say synagogue over, but we would say parish in Christian thought, or like a certain group over there that is not practicing Judaism the way we would want to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Thyatira and this Jezebel use. Now, I mean, yeah, like this right here has been used to police women's leadership in churches, or just like a catch-all for like false teaching, but specifically against women.
Right. You probably wouldn't use that against someone you were accusing of false teaching or teaching poorly if they were a man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this, again, just very like anti-woman imagery using the character of Jezebel and, bringing it back up here in Revelation. Right.
Yeah. When we get into that book more specifically, like if this was true, these would be shocking things that this woman was doing. But again, like we're applying it to now to all women. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you call like when you refer to a woman as a Jezebel, like, and then like we're kind of doing that. We're not even doing that. We're not saying, because on the other side we would do that. It's like oh, he's a real Davy Crockett or whatever, right? And we're talking about that specific guy acts like Davy Crockett. But I've noticed like when we say it's like oh yeah, it's like typical Jezebel. Like it's almost like Jezebel has replaced the word woman.
Right.
Like but Davy Crockett doesn't do that.
No.
It's like he's a real Steve Jobs, or he's a real, whatever, right? And we're talking about that specific guy is like that other specific guy.
Right.
But when we say Jezebel, we're like, it's almost like we're saying this is the true nature of woman. Is all women are Jezebel.
Right. Part of this is because we center so few women in our stories, so that they have to sort of stand in for their class, even though they are, the majority of people. Yeah. Like on Jeopardy, you could have a category that's a women of the Bible, and you'd be like, okay, there's 30 women in the Bible, so I could study for women of the Bible. You can't say for men of the Bible. There's hundreds of them.
This is all the begats.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, in that same passage, right, still talking about Thyatira, this rod of iron, right? So again, with the violent imagery, right, Christ is going to violently rule the nations, right? And faithful Christians will help him do it with a rod of iron. So it's also like giving Christians permission to smite.
In themselves, not like wait for God to do that. Like we will help them. Yeah.
Like this rod of iron, this metaphorical rod of iron is like here. Like, you can smite too now.
Right.
Like, in my name, and it'll be okay, right? And like, the exact opposite of, Jesus giving the apostles the power to, cast out demons and all that stuff, and to heal and everything like that. Now he's like, here, take this rod of iron. You can hurt people, like, in my name now.
Oh, okay.
Ugh. Yeah. So yeah, and the overall tone of these warnings and these threats, this is like shape up, or Jesus is going to get you. He's going to judge you. He's going to smite you. And then like we got these promises to the people who overcome, who persevere, right? And it's interpreted as like individual salvation, right? Making it to heaven if you're faithful enough. If you survive all the Jezebels and all the Satans in the synagogue, then not only will you not get smitten.
I don't think it's smitten.
Well, but that's the past tense of that.
Smote?
Oh, smote, maybe. Yeah.
I think smitten is when you're like in puppy love with somebody.
I know, but it comes from the same root word.
Okay.
We just don't think of it that way because, that's how it should be. It's like, and I was smitten by the love of Christ. I was like, oh, I love everybody now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it should be. But no, I was smote. I was smited with this rod of iron, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but saying that, you're going to, not only are you not going to get smited, you're going to be the smitors, right?
Okay.
Yeah, don't like it. And you get to go to heaven after that. After you beat everybody up, then you get to go to heaven, right? Yeah. But okay, so now,
more than that, like because you beat everybody up.
Right? Yeah. So you're God's like secret police.
Yeah.
Ugh. Don't like it. But yeah, okay, so let's look at what is actually happening in these real cities with real Christians facing real pressures in the 90s CE.
So
right?
Not as a BuzzFeed quiz, not as these are personality types. Like this is John writing to real churches.
Yes, actual churches with those names, right?
Right.
So notice that each letter follows the same pattern, right? Which also was familiar from ancient royal correspondence, right? So he's following a pattern that we don't use anymore, that all of the the writers and the recipients would immediately recognize.
Okay.
Right? So he addresses the church's quote-unquote angel, right? Remember, the angelos, right? Which could mean a literal angel, or it could mean a messenger or a leader or a spiritual guardian. I'm thinking a bishop. You're going to write a letter to the like. You don't write letters to angels. You pray to them.
Yes.
Right? And Jesus wouldn't tell John, hey, write this down and send this to the church's angel.
Right. He lives with them.
Yes, I know that guy. I know Pergamum.
He lives in my house.
Yeah.
Right.
My house, which has many rooms.
Right.
And that's where John turns and is like, what do you mean? It's like, no, it's metaphor. So there we go right there. And we've seen this so many times. Anytime the Bible talks about an enemy, it uses the word Satan. And then we get all confused when there are like enemy armies fighting each other. We're like, well, Satan is involved somehow. No, he's not. It's just the opposing army, right? And then same here. Like anytime there's a servant or a messenger, that's angelos, and we think, oh, that means like an actual angel, right? But I'm thinking here, he's addressing the church's representative, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone you could send a scroll to.
Exactly, right? And we have Christ identifying with a title from the chapter 1 vision, right? It's like Alpha, Omega, I am, the beginning and the end, right? But it's customized to each church's need, all right? So I am the thing that you need most right now.
Okay.
Right? And then he also, he says, I know your works, I know your situation, I know what's going on with you, right? So Jesus is aware of their specific context for each of them, right? And then you get the commendation or the criticism, right? So I commend you for this. You're doing a great job with this. Or I know what you're up to and you got to shape up.
Yeah. Compliment sandwich, Jesus style.
Yes, right? And then a call to action, right? It's usually repent or keep doing what you're doing, right? Hold fast, right?
Yeah.
And then a promise to those who overcome, right? Or the Greek word is actually nikeo or nikeo, which means to conquer or to prevail.
Right.
Remember Nike meaning like victory or I think, wasn't that another word for Athena?
It's the temple of Athena, Nike, which is two different gods, Athena and Nike. Because they used to put that. They used to put everything. Every idea was a god. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. But yeah, folks. So this format isn't random. John is using a recognized literary form to address these churches. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at each of them. Right. Let's look at Ephesus. This is from verses 1 through 7. Right. This is the kind of the loveless orthodoxy, right? So the city of Ephesus, right? This was the 4th largest city in the Roman Empire, right? It was a major trading hub and home to the massive temple of Artemis, right? It was actually one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Yeah. I didn't know that we had separate wonders for ancient and modern.
Ooh, yeah, because all the ancient ones are gone.
Well, that makes sense. Okay.
So which are the 7 wonders of the world to you?
The Sphinx would be one of them, right?
Well, the pyramids is the only one that's still there.
Okay.
The Great Pyramid. Hold on. Oh God, there's 7 of them. We're gonna miss one. The Great Pyramid, the Temple of Artemis, the Great Mausoleum, the Temple of Zeus, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. Damn, I knew this was gonna happen. That's 6 of them, and then a 7th thing.
There you go. And the angel of that one is probably one of the other 7 archangels that I don't know, right? So he's Michael, Gabriel, Uriel,
right,
and Raphael, and then there's 3 others.
Yeah, but a lot of them are in Turkey. A lot of them are in Asia Minor. So the Temple of Artemis, the Statue of Zeus, the Mausoleum, and those are all in Turkey. And then the Statue of the Colossus of Rhodes, right? That's nearby in the Greek islands. And
these are one of the these are the 7 ancient wonders.
Yeah, they're all gone except for the pyramid.
Right. Yeah. Well, there we go. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So
what's
let's look
the modern ones? The Baja Blast. The Baconator. The giant. What do you call it? The KFC sandwich where the chicken is the bread. Yeah.
Yeah. See.
McFlurry, I would say. The Blizzard, the Oreo Blizzard.
So you're gonna say the McFlurry and the Blizzard?
I know. But I think that's right. Is there something on the McDonald's menu better than a McFlurry?
Jesus is going to be like, you have to choose one. This is your sin.
Crazy bread.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 6.
And you got to go with stuffed crust. The stuffed
you always
crust
forget
is
the 7.
Yeah.
Okay, some kind of stuffed crust something.
Yeah.
Good.
See, we got it figured out. No. But yeah, and his letter to us is like, you're not ordering enough to share with everybody.
Oh, if only we knew a guy who could multiply food, Jesus, when things are dire.
And then he just writes back. He writes back another letter. It's just one line. He's like, touche. I know French now. Even though that was way later, but yeah. But yeah, the big deal about Ephesus is that the imperial cult is very, very strong here, right? Multiple temples to the emperors.
And this is like actually worshiping them, I think still, right? Like as gods. Yeah.
So this is, this is something that historically I wasn't aware of, but like the Caesars and the emperors of Rome were worshipped like gods.
Right.
That's what we got going on here is that this budding religion of Christianity is struggling, especially within Ephesus, which is lots of established imperial cult stuff.
I was thinking about that in terms of like modern day, like it's interesting, right? Like Pope Francis. I don't know what Pope Leo says, but I imagine he'd be like this. In Pope Francis's term, he was trying to dissuade people from doing things that felt like worship of him. Like as a god. I don't think people were doing that specifically, but like the kissing of the ring and things like that we talked about in the Exorcist show, right? Like he was trying to dissuade people of that. The Dalai Lama. Has similarly said things like that, right? Like we're here to look at each other and see each other, not really like worship me, And then I'm thinking like the Emperor of Japan. I think technically, in Shinto is still divine, but I don't think he has really said things like that since the end of World War II when he was forced to say he's not a god.
Right. And for those who don't know, I believe, oh God, I did a report on this like a long time ago in high school, but like the sun goddess Amaterasu, the emperor is supposed to be a descendant of her. Right. So you're saying that like now in modern times, modern folks are kind of looking at that as like, oh, this is like a metaphor or this is symbolic. It's not like
I think it's hard to wrap our heads around like the leader of your country or of your people being a god. I don't think that we do that much.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And I think we did talk about before, there are videos of Pope Francis where like people are lining up to meet him and they're like bending down to kiss the ring, which was a tradition, and he's like swatting them away, like he's like no, like not like in a mean way, but just like don't do that,
right,
yeah,
right, yeah, exactly, downplaying his divineness. He's not divine,
yeah. But yeah, so Christianity is struggling within the city of Ephesus with all of this cult worship of Roman emperors.
Right.
Right. So the situation of this specific church in Ephesus is that the church it's very orthodox, but it's very cold. Right. So they've quote tested those who claim to be apostles. Right. And the Greek word here, dokimazo, means that they've like examined and exposed false teachers. Right. They hate the quote deeds of the Nicolaitans. No, not the Nicolaitans. Nicolaitans.
Let's call him Nick.
Yeah, right. They were likely a group like advocating for like accommodation with with Roman religious practices, though we don't know exactly who they were.
Right. Yeah. Jesus says he hates them specifically in this, which is again, not your grandfather's Jesus.
Yeah. Again, so you're blowing my mind here about like these being, if this is Jesus, which I don't think it is, these being the only actual words we have like verbatim from his mouth.
Right, where he's saying, write this down. Right.
And it's like, I hate.
hate Nick.
Yeah.
Right, I hate the Nicolaitans.
I just want to say Nicolaitans. But that's not how it's spelled.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, folks.
Again, not that he says, let me tell you a story about the figs, and then other people say Jesus hated figs. This is Jesus saying, write down that I hate the Nicolaitans.
Yeah. Right. And then he says, but they've left he's talking about the church. Again, he says, but they've left their first love, right? This is verse 4. Now, the Greek word is agape, right? This is self-giving love, right? This is selfless love, right? It's not like romantic love, right? And this isn't just like, he's talking about like personal devotion cooling off, right? In context, it likely means that they have abandoned the love for one another and for neighbors that characterized early Christian communities, right? So they've become theologically pure, but relationally cold, right? So possibly becoming, judgmental and insular in this community, right? Okay, so I can kind of get behind that. I can kind of get behind Jesus saying, oh, you guys are like very, very monastic. You're very good at doing all the church, motions, but you've forgotten love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
And so I'm on this. I I can get behind this thing if this is what people are saying that Jesus is saying. Right?
Correct. That's what my ex would say about me.
Yeah.
Good at all the motion. No, not that way.
But where's the warmth, right?
That's not what I meant. But yes, yes. Yeah, going through the motions, all that's really good. But yeah, where's the passion? Yeah.
He went on a date and he got the flowers and he did the things but there was no feeling behind it.
That's what I was meaning to say, but you got me double entendre.
Yes.
Okay. Just so I don't.
We got double entendre spilling over from our last recording.
Okay, great. Good.
Yeah, we were talking about hot dog fingers and all that. Right. But yeah, no. I think that's what we're talking about here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so the main threat for this one is he says, I will remove your lampstand. Right. You'll cease to be a church that gives light. Right. So function follows form. If you don't embody love, you're not actually the body of Christ anymore. Right. So I'm gonna take away your churchhood, basically, the power of this church, because you're not preaching love anymore. Right. And then he says, and then the promise he makes, right? He says, quote, the tree of life in the paradise of God. And this is when John turns, is like, the tree of life or the tree of knowledge, right? No. But this is, this is obvious.
Say it, yeah. This is the carrot of the carrot and stick part.
Yeah.
Is that I will give you the tree to eat from the tree of life.
Yes, right. This is the obvious Eden imagery here, right? This is merged with the final vision of the New Jerusalem. To overcome means to not to defeat or conquer, but to return to love, and the reward is restoration to the original design, right? Humans in fellowship with God. Okay. All right. And I like that. So that's the victory is coming back to the Garden of Eden. Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Smyrna. Right. This is the suffering church. What is it? Tithing leads to extravagance, and indulgence. Indulgence leads to sin, and sin leads to suffering.
Thank you, Lester.
Yeah. It was like, oh wait, it is. It is Miss Piggy and Grover and all of them because it's all the same person.
No,
it's the Trinity.
Search your feelings.
Yes. But yeah, okay. So Smyrna, this is modern Izmir in Turkey, and they were fiercely loyal to Rome and had been competing with Ephesus and Pergamum for the honor of hosting imperial temples. Right. So emperor worship was even more intense here in Smyrna. Right. So the situation with this church, right, it receives no criticism, only encouragement. Right. They are experiencing tribulation and poverty. Right. The Greek words thlipsis and tokeia, right? So this is like crushing pressure and destitution, right? They're materially poor, but spiritually rich, right? And okay, yeah, let's talk about this synagogue of Satan, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. Yes. Don't interrupt me, he says. But yeah, this is obviously the most problematic verse in the chapter, and has fueled horrific anti-Semitism. So okay, let's be clear about what's happening here. So the Greek says, those who say they are Jews but are not. Right? This is legon ton laudeus enai heotios kai ok esin. Right? I'm like, that was the best I could do, folks. But this is referring to intra-Jewish conflict, not Christian anti-Judaism.
It's a family feud.
Yeah, so exactly. So the Smyrna church likely consisted of both Jewish and Gentile followers of Jesus. And they were being denounced to Roman authorities by other Jews who didn't accept Jesus as the Messiah.
Right.
So John isn't saying, oh, Jews are satanic. Right? He's saying those who are betraying us to the authorities for the for execution are acting as adversaries. Again, remember, satanas, right? That means adversary. So he's not even saying those who are turning us in are Satan,
right,
or are following Satan. He's just saying they're against us. They're acting against us, right? See how many levels this can be, right? He's not saying all Jews are satanic. He's not even saying that the Jewish people who are like handing us over to Roman authorities are satanic.
Right.
He's just saying that the Jewish people who are handing us over to the authorities are working against us.
And he's not even saying that particular synagogue on that street is a synagogue of Satan. He's saying that the people within the synagogues of this town, of the city, who are doing this wrongly, who are doing this persecution, belong to a separate synagogue.
Yeah, he's like a separate metaphorical synagogue.
Right,
it's like they're following. It's like they're followers of a different church, right?
Right. Yeah, you aren't true believers of the church. You're a believer in the church of the iPhone because you're just in your iPhones all day,
yes.
right? Yeah, that's what this is.
Exactly. Right. It's like when we say it's like, what do they say? There's actually images of it now. It's like MAGA Jesus.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's got, it's a picture of Jesus with, like blonde hair, blue eyes, and a red hat, and an AK, strapped to his back or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Revelation, right? Like this is the language of like family conflict, not ethnic condemnation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And yeah, the tragic irony, right? This verse written by a Jewish person, John, about a specific local conflict was later weaponized into anti-Semitism by Gentile Christians who used it to justify the persecution of all Jewish people. Right. This is an abuse of this text.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It does feel tailor-made, that term, to like let's hand this over to some anti-Semites to use.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a misunderstanding of the word Satan and of the word synagogue.
Of all the important words.
So everything except the word of, right?
Yeah. That one they got right.
Yeah, exactly. They got that perfectly.
Now, there's mention of 10 days in this chapter, right? Like this is verse 10, symbolic for completeness. In a different way than 7 is symbolic for completeness. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Oh, yeah. Well, I have an answer to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, my God. Hold on. Let me get my dot counter.
Yeah. And your thought counter.
Oh, God. The dot police over here.
Yeah. Right. So, again, probably not literal. In the same way, like 40 days and 40 nights, well, like we've established that just means a really long time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So 10 days, right? Probably symbolic rather than literal, right? So he's talking about the trial will be complete but limited, right? It's like 10, right? And then we talk about be faithful unto death, right? The Greek word pistis, which means like faithfulness or loyalty, right? Again, this is like martyr or martis language, right? Be a faithful witness even if it kills you. Yeah.
But don't worry, if you die doing this, you'll get a
crown of life, right? Stephanos, which, that was the victory wreath given to like athletes and victorious like generals.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I didn't think of that having a name, but yeah.
Yeah, right? So that the little Caesar thing, right? With the little front bit bitten out.
Yeah. the pizza bread. The crazy bread, yeah.
Yes. Right? Oh, no, yeah. So this is the reward for like being a faithful witness unto death, right?
Right.
Like we're doing it in the crown imagery, but this is like resurrection, eternal life.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's like, here are 7 letters. I have to just not tell them each they're going to get a bite of the fruit of the tree of life. I need to come up with a different version of them, but they all come down to the same thing.
Right. Yeah. So we had like the tree of life in the other letter, and now we have the crown of life in this. Right.
Don't just copy paste here.
Yes. Right. We got to think of like a new thing each time. Right. It's a good thing there's only like 7 churches because he's like the 6-speed bicycle of life. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys are really fast, but you're going in the wrong direction. I give you the 6-speed bicycle of life.
I'm trying to think of what was the cool toy when I was a kid that I never got for Christmas. The Home Alone Talk Boy of life.
But let's be accurate. This is a long time ago. The hoop on a stick of life. The hell was the point of that toy even?
Right. Oh, it hoops. It sticks.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Hoop it.
Yeah, stick it.
Stick it.
Right. The generational heirloom doll of life. It's really creepy, and you just kind of like have it as a decoration in your bathroom.
Yeah, right.
Was watching you pee, and it's like I'm never going to play with that. But
is your great grandmother's soul in it?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm Jesus. I don't even know.
Jesus is scared of creepy dolls.
That's why you never see any creepy dolls in the Bible. Right? Prove me wrong. You can't. Wait. What do they always say? Prove me wrong. I'll wait. It's my favorite ending to these stupid debates. But this passage also mentions a second death in verse 11, right? this right here is a Jewish concept. This is the final, ultimate death after judgment, right? So those who endure the first death, right, in martyrdom, won't experience the second death, which is a final separation from God.
Right, and this will come later on once John starts telling us about the end times. He has quite a vision of what the second death will be. So very different from. So it's taking this Jewish concept and then making it his own. Let's say of what the final death is. The second death. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right. So I think now we got a little a Jeopardy question going on. Are you ready,
Okay.
Sean Connery?
Ready, Trebek?
Yeah. So this is where Satan's throne is.
What is your mother's house, Trebek?
I knew that I was going to regret this. Trying to do a Will Ferrell. Not Will Ferrell. That's a different book of the Bible. Yeah. But no, okay, so we're talking about Pergamum.
That's where Satan's throne is. Yeah.
What is Pergamum? Yeah. And this is verses 12 to 17, right? Let's talk about the city, okay? So the city Pergamum was the official capital of the Roman province of Asia, right? And again, like they considered Turkey, modern day Turkey, part of Asia, right?
Right.
And Pergamum housed the first imperial cult temple in Asia, built for Augustus in 29 BCE. Right? And it sat on a hill with this massive altar to Zeus that could be seen for miles. It was also a center for the healing cult of Asclepius. Asclepius. The Larch. The Larch. And this was like lots of like snake imagery everywhere.
Okay.
So I'm guessing Asclepius. Maybe you have to say it like that. Asclepius.
Very good.
But yeah, so let's talk about where Satan's throne is, right? Like that part, right? Verse 13, right? So again, this is coded language, right? To Christians refusing to worship the emperor, the imperial cult center was literally Satan's throne, right? Or, I mean, like again, right? It could be the enemy's throne, right? So it could be Satan's throne. It could be just the enemy's throne, right? So this is like the seat of the power demanding worship that belongs to God alone, right? So some scholars think it refers to, the massive altar of Zeus, others to the imperial temple itself, right? Either way, this church is living in the beast's lair, right? So yeah.
So if it is the altar to Zeus that they're talking about, the foundations are still there, but they have moved it to Berlin. They have moved the giant altar, which is like the size of the steps of the New York Public Library or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, so it's gigantic. So I have to look more into this, but it looks to me like they just literally like Carmen Sandiego'd it and like stole it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's giant.
That is huge. And they just picked it up and skedaddled?
I guess so. I don't quite understand that.
How does... I mean, that is a Carmen Sandiego movie.
Right, exactly. So I guess
Not even Nick Cage
probably
could
had
do
to
that.
I don't know, paint it a little bit or something to put it back together. But yeah, I guess they just put it all on ships and put it in Berlin for some reason. Yeah.
You would think that's like a British move or something. Stealing, cultural landmarks.
Yeah, the front of a church. Yeah, yeah. So if that is what they're talking about, you could see how that would be like. That is Satan's throne. Like that is the temple where Satan's throne is.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
So again, it might be like, sure, it might be metaphorical of that. That's like that's where anti-Christendom is, or it might just be like, look at that fucking thing. It's gigantic. Like that's a literal throne.
That's definitely Satan's throne. If there was a Satan, that's where he'd be sitting.
Right.
Yeah. That would be his summer home on Earth. Yeah. Okay, but let's talk about Antipas. My faithful witness, right? Who is a martyr, right? We know nothing else about Antipas, but he was killed in Pergamum for his faith, right? The Greek martis appears again, right? He witnessed faithfully and was killed for it, right? Okay. So this church has already experienced violent persecution.
Yeah, Bart Ehrman talks about that kind of a question about were the early Christians persecuted as much as they think that they were?
Right. We were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So this seems to be an open question. So yes, John says that Antipas was killed for his faith, but we don't know anything about Antipas. But then, other Christians who come after the writings of John use this as evidence of like, look, this is part of the Christian myth of like hiding in caves and all that kind of thing.
Right. Could have been that he just went to the Roman version of Starbucks and the little cup said, Happy Holidays.
Right.
And he just he was so angry that he wasn't looking where he was going and he fell down those steps. And the people just like he died for his beliefs,
Yeah, Ehrman keeps it rather ecumenical. Like he doesn't say like Christians today do. He says people of all faiths today do that. And I think there's some truth to that, right? Like, so it's not just a Christian thing, but in America, if you're listening from overseas, that is a giant thing that American Christians do. Everything is persecuting them.
Right. Yes.
But I'm sure that's true.
There is a war on Christmas.
Right.
Forever.
Yeah. So that probably is true in Islam and Judaism and Buddhism, and you could probably find those people everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Although they're not as loud.
At least not in America.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which is already just like a metaphorical megaphone. Right?
Now that I think about it, so again, I don't want to get us into like international politics, but like Modi in India is one of those people about Hinduism. He says that Hinduism is being persecuted in India, which is just not true.
Interesting. Yeah. It's when you have a book that you really, really like, and you go to your friend and you're like, hey, I want to share this book with you, but it's like a series and I'm on like book 7, but I want to talk to you about it. Like, hey, can you read this? And when they say, no thanks, I'm not into wizard schools or whatever, right? And you're like, you hate me? Not even like I was putting that together as I was going. It's like first you hate this book series, and you hate books. No, you hate me. This is a personal attack. How could you? We've been friends for like 7 years, which is a number of completeness, and this is a dagger in my heart that oh God, and now I'm bleeding out on the ground, and you're pissing on my body.
That's right.
Because I want you to finish 6 books so you can talk to me about fucking house elf or whatever. Anyway,
all right.
I might have been having a book series in mind as I was improvising. I don't know.
Great. Well, R.I.P. Antipas. We know nothing about him. We
hardly know him.
Whether John is telling the truth about him or exaggerating him. But yes, that's a martyr for Jesus.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And then, okay, let's talk about this doctrine of Balaam. I like that phrasing, doctrine of Balaam, right? Yeah. But this references Numbers 22 to 25. I realized I wrote it in a way that, I sound like I'm talking about the numbers.
Hold on, what? I don't think you can clarify it that way, even. You're talking about the book of Numbers.
Right. This references
chapters 22
to 25. The book of Numbers, Numbers 22 to 25.
No, we'll be here all day.
I know.
Stop clarifying this.
Who's on third base? No, the book of Numbers, chapters 22 to 25, yes, where Balaam advised the Moabite king to seduce Israel into idolatry and sexual immorality, which back then was kind of like, I don't know, doing it on a Thursday or something. No. Probably not as crazy as our imaginations, or hey, maybe even way more crazier than our imaginations can, with chickens and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, quote, eating things sacrificed to idols. Oh, okay, like on the little altar, you just grab a piece of mutton or something like that.
Yeah, so this is such an aside, but Bart Ehrman has a whole page on this.
Oh.
It brings up an interesting question. So it's such a minor part of what's going on here. But apparently there was a debate at the time that people were writing into St. Paul about. Should we be able to eat the meat that has been sacrificed to the idols?
Okay.
So Ehrman doesn't know why they wanted to eat the meat. Maybe it was discounted, because someone buys the meat once and then you donate it to the idols, you sacrifice it to the idols, and then they could sell it again at a discount. But he doesn't know. So it's why did people want to eat this? But it's a really interesting question. So I hope it sounds interesting to you.
No, because I'm always wondering about it. Because we have religious food practices today. I mean, like in Japan, they'll put a little bit of food at an altar or something like that. Or we were talking about like in our movie Everything Everywhere in parts of China they'll put like just a little bit of and then
there's an orange and some rice.
Yeah. And I mean like we got that too. Like we have we have food offerings and stuff like that, right?
And you pour one out for your homies who have passed away. Like that's a real thing, though. Right? Yeah, it's a silly idea, but yeah.
But then what do you do with it, like practically, right? Like whether you believe that it is going somewhere or not, it's food that I mean maybe people are starving everywhere, and like where like. This food is just like lying around, right?
So that was the question. Was it permissible for the early Christians to eat the meat that had been given to idols they didn't believe in? So if you today you wouldn't take someone's orange off of the Budai's offering at a Chinese restaurant and eat it,
right?
Because it's disrespectful, right? Yeah. But this is the question: like, hey, am I getting a good deal on like meat? Which is hard to come by anyways, right? Like these people who don't believe in God have sacrificed this meat to somebody else. I know because I believe in God that there is no ball. There is no whoever these things have been offered up to. So why can't I eat the meat?
So I see. So it's not the. Because it would be one thing if it was like your own altar. So this was like in the Old Testament we're talking about like Cain and Abel they sacrificed like some vegetables to God or I think it was Abel who sacrificed the meat. And it's like
they would do that until Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son, and God said you don't have to do that anymore. You just have to sacrifice your son's foreskin. Right. So that was the last word on that was that it's like no more like live sacrifices and stuff like that. Yeah. And so that would be one thing. It's like, okay, this is my God and I'm supposed to give him this offering of food. Right. But I'm just going to like cheekily eat it myself. Yeah. Like, it's like that's one sin. But like, so their reasoning is like, hey, this isn't going to anybody. Like this is going to a false God. So I should be able to eat it. Right. Because that God's not real.
Right. And what I think they're coming up against is God saying, I'm perceiving that, God, am perceiving that as you eating food that is offered to another. Like it's almost like you're recognizing that God.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So Bart Ehrman doesn't say why Paul came down to the side, and the way he writes it, it's like a Dear Abby sort of a question. And Paul says it's probably better not to do it. but John here is like that is an affront. Doing this like participating at all in that seems to be an affront to Christ.
Yeah. So it's like. Today, we would be like, oh no, that would be very, very disrespectful to the other person's religion. And here, it seems like they're saying, like, because it's the "Thou shalt have no other gods before me," written at a time when it seemed like Yahweh was recognizing that there were other gods, and it's like you servicing the other gods in any other way or in any way, like putting them before me is a sin.
Yeah, even by stealing from them, maybe yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Is to acknowledge that, like, almost like. Now that meat has been offered up to Baal, that is Baal's meat, and you're eating Baal's meat. I didn't mean it like I just said, keep going, Lester.
That's right.
You can't eat Baal's meat. We got the foreskin thing to fix that. Which apparently causes autism now.
Oh, I sent you that picture too.
Yeah. Freaking.
I sent Lester a meme about foreskin autism that, like, by the time this comes out, you won't even remember what that's in reference to because the news cycle moves so fast. But
it's one stupid thing that the head of our Department of Health has said that is going to be buried under multiple stupid things by the time this gets this airs.
Not even worth explaining.
Not even. Anyway, the doctrine of Balaam. No. But no, I think we're right about this, Keenan. I think it is offensive to eat the sacrificed meat of another god, I think is what is being said.
Right. Even if it's because we don't believe in them. That's so fascinating.
That is some mental gymnastics right there.
All right, sorry. That was a big tangent, but again, Ehrman in his book goes on a full page about it as a tangent. I was like, whoa, what is this? But that's a really interesting theological question to me.
I guess it would be like, okay, let's think of it from the other perspective. Let's say that you're starving, you're right outside a church, and for some reason, the priest has left like a plate of like the holy bread, which has already been blessed and transubstantiated. so you eating that because you're not Christian, you don't believe that it's the body of Christ, is like let's say that you are a starving Jewish person, or a starving Muslim person, or a starving Muslim person, or a starving Buddhist, or something like that, and you are eating this bread because you believe it's just bread. It's not the body of Christ.
Right.
But it would be as if that God got mad about that.
Right.
Like you're eating the Eucharist,
Right.
Which I don't think that those gods would get. Well, one of them is the same God anyway. Is Allah.
I've said this before. I miss that Eucharist cracker. I think of it sometimes, and I could just order them. I don't think it's sacrilegious to eat them not blessed, but
I think we're reading a passage in the Bible right now that says it absolutely is. Well, no, or based on interpretation, it isn't. I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, so I think that's what that is, right? Eating so it's talking about like participating in meals at pagan temples,
right?
Right, which is essential. Wait, so this might actually mean eating a meal like meant for people at a pagan temple. Maybe they had like meals for people, like here, let's use this meat to sacrifice, to the god, and then let's all sit down and have a meal, like a holy meal.
And that also would be unacceptable to Christ. Yeah.
Right. But like what I'm understanding is that these meals were not only religious, but also like kind of like cultural and necessary for like the economy. Like they were built into like trade guilds and social advancement.
That makes sense.
So you would go and you would have dinner at the temple with the priests, and then like that would help your business. So yeah, so this wasn't about like theology. It was about like economics and survival, right? If you didn't participate in guild meals, right, which involved ritual sacrifice and to gods or emperors, you couldn't work in your trade. So some Christians were like advocating for accommodation, right? It's like it doesn't really mean anything. We can participate and keep our faith. Yeah, not just like stealing off of the altars, but like actually like participating in these like business dinners with Roman priests.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Nicolaitans. So they appear again here, right? Also mentioned in Ephesus, right? Probably a group of or like a teacher advocating this kind of practical accommodation with Roman religious culture. So it'd be like, okay, so I'm kind of like understanding the context a little bit more here. It would be like if you, a Christian, were called to do business with, like let's say a Chinese firm, and like we're gonna have dinner at this restaurant, which also has like the little shrine and everything,
right?
And that would be like eating the meat of another god's temple to this Christian god.
I have heard American Christians who have been uncomfortable by the Buddhist statues at Chinese restaurants. Because
Really?
Well, yeah. I'm not saying sane Christians,
Okay.
but Christians who have been like, I'm not going in there. I wouldn't eat at that place because it's got an idol there.
Wow.
When it's not an idol.
And you're missing out on like great food because
That's the main part, yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
But also reading it as an idol when no one in there is worshiping it as an idol.
No. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're just like judging everything based on the lens that that we're projecting is basically what we're doing. Yeah. But okay, so that's what this is. Like the Nicolaitans were saying, hey, why don't we do this? It'll be good for business, and we're still Christians. We just eat at the temples, for business. But okay, this sword of my mouth, right? I think we all understand this is not like literal, sword, coming out of Jesus's mouth. And I think we also understand that this is not like preaching of violence. I think this is Jesus talking about like speaking the truth and exposing, like the fakers and the flakers.
Right. It just gets complicated because Jesus is also violent in this version of Jesus. But this is speaking the truth with swords. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this violent imagery is nothing to worry about.
Right. Exactly. Just you wait.
Yeah. Don't worry. Like the least violent thing is the sword coming out of Jesus' mouth.
Right.
Okay. And then he talks about like he's going to promise like to feed them hidden manna, right? So the manna, we know, like sustained Israel in the wilderness when they refused to compromise with Egypt. So another like refusing to compromise, right?
Right.
So the promise is like sustenance for those who resist the empire.
It's interesting to call it hidden. Like manna in the Old Testament is not exactly hidden. It's given them directly, right? I mean, it's like, so like God is making them to find it in the desert. So it's interesting to call it hidden here. Like you have to, like God's not going to give it to you. You have to find it.
Or like you'll you'll be sustained seemingly from nothing.
Right.
Right? Like the Romans are going to be like, it's like, well, they're not eating at the temple. How are they?
Right.
How are they thriving? Like, what's happening?
Sense, yeah.
Right? And it's like, shh, it's secret, man.
Right.
Right. Okay, let's talk about Thyatira. This is the Jezebel problem. Okay, so let's look at the city. So this was the smallest and least important of the 7 cities politically, right? But it was a major manufacturing center, especially for purple dye and textiles. Trade guilds dominated the economy, and guild membership required participation in, again, ritual meals dedicated to various gods, right? So the more that we're looking into this, the more we're seeing this this custom that is not around today, and so we don't have anything to compare it to. But if you want to do business with the Romans, you gotta like eat, drink, and be merry amongst their gods.
Right. To do as the Romans do.
To do it, when in Rome,
eat the damn meat.
Eat the damn meat. Or we can't close this deal, right? Okay, so the church is commended for growth in love, faith, service, and patient endurance, right? So the recent works exceeded their earlier ones, but there is a serious problem. That woman, Jezebel.
His name is woman.
Yeah,
Jezebel.
Yeah. Almost certainly not her real name. John is using the name of Ahab's wife from 1 Kings. From First Kings 16 to 21, right? And we remember Jezebel promoted Baal worship. No. This is, Keenan, this interruption is going to seem out of place because I was thinking of deleting the first one.
I think if you say that twice, it's a pattern.
It's in the Bible.
There's got to be a better way of saying that, buddy.
Baal. B-A-A-L. Baal. There we go.
Right. Okay. So Jezebel, Jezebel was the wife of Ahab. That might not have been her real name.
Right. It's probably, if you translate it from Hebrew, it probably means like, bad woman or something like that.
Yeah, Zebel is dung is what I saw.
Okay, yeah, probably not her real name.
Right. So it's like dung. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to think of Beelzebub because like I was trying to link those two, but Zebub is flies.
Zebub.
The Baal is just Lord.
Yeah,
so Lord
yeah.
So I was we almost had a connection, but no. It's we don't need to link like Jezebel with Beelzebub because Christians already have. So yeah. She was promoting worship of Baal. And again, this is a prophetic figure in Thyatira church, right? A woman claiming prophetic authority who's teaching that Christians can participate in the guild meals.
Right.
Right. So
to eat the idol food, right?
Yes, right. Not idle food as in like non-busy food.
Right.
Like IDLE, right. Like idol food. Right.
Just in case you didn't cut it out to eat the ball meat.
Yes.
Just in case.
Just in case. Anyway, but no, the accusations here are like, teaching and seducing my servants to commit. Do you see that next word?
No, where are you? Teaching my servants to where are you? Where are you?
Here.
To commit porneia. What could that mean?
This is the eating of ball meat.
Porneia is sexual immorality.
Yes.
So there was
it all comes around.
So there was some woman in how are you saying this? Thyatira, right? Who was preaching in the church or preaching to the
church of Thyatira.
Right. Yeah. Either in there or to the parishioners, right? To this particular synagogue, and saying like, hey, let's do these sexual practices. And again, this is John's word of it. So we don't know if she was like literally saying like, hey, I am a prophet, or he was like, this is some woman who, outside of the church is like seducing people or something. Like we have no idea.
He may be exaggerating. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But he's saying that this is like Jezebel, and that you have, again, not like as a BuzzFeed personality test, but you specifically at this real church have a real specific problem with this real specific person.
Right.
Right. But then we read it as this is advice to all churches.
Yeah, and this is, and we're taking the name Jezebel, and we're basically saying women shouldn't make any decisions in the Holy Church,
right?
Because they're going to ruin it.
Right.
So that's why we don't have women priests. That's why we don't like take their advice on anything related to God, and they can only be nuns. Otherwise, they're Jezebels.
Yeah, this version of Jesus says that I gave her the chance to repent, and she chose not to. So again, John making Jesus into a character and then saying...
Right, so this is John saying Jesus saying.
Right, right. This particular woman has, I know what she has in her heart and she's not repentant of this.
Yeah.
Right.
This is smelling a little bit like Dante talking about Beatrice, but like the opposite, like this Beatrice, this particular Beatrice jilted John, and now she's a Jezebel.
Right.
Yeah. But let's talk about what's really at stake in Thyatira, right? Especially, right? So refusing to join these like trade guilds meant economic ruin, right? For these early Christians, right? Jezebel is apparently a prominent, persuasive leader, a persuasive female leader, arguing for this like both and solution, right? This is a female Socrates.
That's right.
Right? It's like, hey, we can do both, right?
Why not both?
Yeah, we can participate in the guild system, make a living, and still follow Jesus privately.
But that would be like rendering under Caesar the things that are Caesar and rendering unto the Lord the things that are the Lord.
Yeah, and nobody ever said to do that. We're being sarcastic. That's exactly what Jesus said, right? Which, okay, no, Keenan, I didn't even think about that. You raise a very, very good point. That is literally... This right here, sword mouth Jesus, and as written by this John, is saying the exact opposite of what Jesus said.
Right.
Because this is the Pharisees were trying to get him in trouble, right?
Right.
They were asking him this like in a crowd of people, and it's like, don't you think it's sinful that that us Jews should serve Caesar in this way?
Right.
And he's like, well, whose face is on the money? Like render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but render unto God what is God's.
Right.
Like boom, mic drop. Like you thought you got me, but I got you. Right.
The more important thing is the truth of it, not the letter of the law, et cetera. Like do the letter of the law because it's the letter of the law, and then you know in your hearts what's good and what's not. Yeah.
And so here, Jesus comes back, according to John, and says, no, actually, like anybody who says that is a Jezebel.
Right. Especially as a woman.
Yeah. Right. He's calling the actual like gospel Jesus a Jezebel. But no, he's not because because that Jesus isn't a woman. So
right.
Yeah. A woman says what I say, she's a Jezebel.
Right.
Okay, now I'm getting properly angry. Thank you, Keenan.
Okay, good.
Yeesh. So this compromise is not it, as the kids say, right? Well, let's look at the judgment language, right? So I will cast her into a bed and kill her children with death.
Right. That's Jesus.
Wow. Remember, folks, like top 10 Jesus quotes, right? Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Do unto others, right? The Lord's Prayer is up there, right? And I will cast her into a bed and kill her children with death.
Right. And it is implied like cast. So yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, which makes it a little confusing. Like the addition that's in there makes it confusing. Right. But so you're simplifying it in a good way. But I'll send her to a bed along with people who commit adultery. So it is literally a bed for sex. It's not some metaphor or anything else.
Right.
And Bart Ehrman was talking about some people have translated it as into a sick bed, but he someone who goes back and looks at the original Greek is like, no, there's a different word for that. This is literally a bed that like. Not a metaphor. It's a bed. That's all that is. So yeah, I'll cast her into a bed where she belongs, essentially, and then kill her children with death. In the King James version, I will kill her children with death, which is really, really dead.
Yes, which like, and we're talking about like that second death, and also like so being banned from the resurrection.
Right. Oh, I see. Ah, yes, that's even
so
worse.
So like death, as in like oblivion. Like there's no eternal life for you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's another. So let's talk about this rod of iron, right? So, yeah, giving his followers a rod of iron, power over the nations, right? So this quotes Psalm 2, which is a coronation psalm for Israel's king. But notice the promise is to those who refuse compromise with empire, right? So they'll participate in God's rule precisely by not grasping for power within the Roman system now. So the rod of iron, folks, in Psalm Two was the king's shepherd's staff, right? It could be used to protect or to strike, right? The image is about like authority to judge, right? Slash like, shepherd the nations in God's kingdom, right? Given to those who refused to worship the nation's gods in this age. All right. So if you stay away from those other gods who might, promise you power and wealth and all that stuff, I will give you this rod of iron and you will be able to rule, as I do.
Right.
Yeah. Right. All right. Okay.
As a benevolent, like violent when I need to be, loving when I need to be shepherd.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I'll speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Right.
A rod of iron. Okay. Let's talk about this morning star. Right. So I think Jesus himself is the morning star.
Yes. And that made me go, even though I've listened to our own show and intellectually remember that the morning star being Satan is us adding a lot to the actual text.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. But that made me go, what? Jesus is and it made me actually read back, wait, no, this must be Satan speaking. I must have missed a line here where Satan comes into this story, etc. But it's not. Jesus is calling himself the bright morning star. And like our previous passage where we now say that means Satan, that means this means something else. This just means the morning star.
Right. Yeah. So this isn't the morning star. This is the morning star.
Right. It's not Lucifer morning star.
Right.
It's just a star in the morning.
Yes.
Which again, because we did a whole episode. You taught me about that, about how we've taken that and the morning star becomes we're talking about the fall of Babylon, but then we have now metaphoricalized it to that being Lucifer, and that is not what that means at all. But here, even then, I was like, what are you saying, John? Jesus can't be the morning star.
Right. And I don't think even by this time, even like way after, Isaiah 14:12 is written, they haven't yet equated Isaiah 14:12 with the devil.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So that's again even more evidence against that reading.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that here we have John having Jesus say, "That's me."
Yeah. So okay, let's zoom out and take a look at this pattern here. So we have economic pressure and faithful witness.
Okay.
Right. So notice that all of these letters have have a couple things in common. Right. These are all real cities with real problems. So they're not abstract like church types. All of the problems are economic and social. So like, do we accommodate the Roman religious culture? Do we kind of like mingle with them and eat the meat from the altars, like metaphorically or literally, right? For survival, for advancement in these cities, right? Some are advocating for accommodation, right? We got the Nicolaitans and the Jezebels, right? And some are remaining steadfast and separate from that, but they're suffering because of that, right? And Jesus is like, fear not, you will overcome, you will conquer, right?
Right.
And the conquering and the overcoming means like remaining faithful in their specific situation, right? And then we got promises drawn from the end vision, right? So it's like of a new creation, tree of life, hidden manna, a new name, the morning star. What was the other one? There was another one, the crown of life, right? All of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
so,
a new white stone with a new name, right?
Yes, right? So the question facing every church, like, will you maintain your witness to Jesus as Lord even when Caesar demands worship and the economy requires compromise? So it's not only it's not just like that, like this is a theocracy. This is the law to worship the emperor,
right?
And you're resisting that. You're also resisting like an easy life if you decided to kind of like fall in line and worship the emperor and eat at his feasts and and participate in these rituals, like you would be financially comfortable, but you would lose God's favor.
Yeah, and again, it is. Will you hold true to the Lord, even because it feels like He's not coming back? Right, like now it's been longer than you're all preparing for,
right?
And maybe you're starting to compromise. Maybe you're starting to pull away from that. The more that Jesus becomes a memory, right?
Right.
But no, right? We're going to get to in chapter 4, etc. Like this is going to happen soon. Like hold on to this. Keep keep hope alive.
But yeah, so like at the end of it all, this chapter isn't about like church personality types or eras of history, right? It's about these real Christian communities navigating the impossible pressures of living within the empire, right? Like trying to survive economically while refusing to worship the emperor, trying to maintain distinctiveness while not being wiped out, right? Because that's the other danger, that's the other end of the spectrum is, if you stand out too obviously and you're very kind of like anti emperor worship, right? I mean, you're in Rome. They could just step on you.
Right.
Right. And the consistent call is don't compromise, hold fast, witness faithfully. The kingdom you'll inherit is worth more than anything that Rome has to offer.
Right. Like modern life is getting crazy. Don't worry about it.
Yes. Right. There's a channel on YouTube that as we go on, it's going to interpret some of the more violent passages a lot more lovingly, and this is kind of like the first distinction it makes. I like it, and you can follow along a Bible Project. It talks about Revelation, but it says Jesus' message here is for these churches to persevere through the torture and death and remain faithful, and in this way they will, quote unquote, conquer. So this first part sort of sets everything up. Will Christians overcome the persecution? And what does it mean that they will conquer? So if we are to take it in this way, as Bible Project is interpreting it, the whole imagery of victory over your enemies and conquering, just that word conquer, victory, and all that, it's being turned on its head, right? Like the victory comes from refusing to fight. The victory comes from being peaceful. So I want to follow that thread as we go, because that's the only thing that's going to get me through this very, on the surface, seemingly violent book of the Bible.
Well, I'm saying I don't think you have to believe in Revelation. I would give you permission to ignore it.
Yeah, I think.
I think it is very violent. I think it is violent and somewhat hateful.
Yeah, I think even modern Catholics are looking at this being like, nah, yeah. I mean, remember, folks, there was, and it still are arguments about whether or not this should be in the Bible as canon. Right. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, Martin Luther didn't want it there.
Martin Luther didn't want it. The Catholics didn't want it. The Protestants didn't want it. It found a fan base that I'm just going to say is the perfect fan base to pick this up. Yeah. But yeah, we'll explore this a little bit more next week, and I'm excited about that. But for now, folks, this has been another episode of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Instagram or Letterboxd as Howdy Keenan.
Find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at truestory.fm, or you can drop us a message at bananaforscalemail, that's MAIL, @gmail.com. We got our Facebook listener group, Banana for Scale. It's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group, but just request to join, and we'll let you into the Infernal family. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early and ad-free. Pretty cool, just $5. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5 pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media is going to help our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks. Until next week, love and hisses. Mwah.